Hello, and welcome to our last session of the night of the Fatherhood Conference, the Fatherhood Summit. Today, this entire day, we have been taking a look at faith and what does faith mean and have to do when it comes to this idea of fatherhood. So we really want to dive in. We've already talked to a couple of really great speakers. We had a chance to talk to Dow. We just got off and was able to talk to Sean. Now we're here with my friend Patrick. Patrick, man, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us.
I'm pretty good. How are you? How are you today, Matt?
I'm doing great, man. I'm ready to listen to all the nuggets of wisdom that you're about to drop on us.
Yeah.
So we've been talking all day about this idea of faith and fatherhood. You're a coach as far as helping men, specifically dads, find the work that they love. And so I would love to hear, how does your faith play a part in helping men find the work that they love?
Well, I mean, it's really important to do the work that you love. It may not necessarily have to be like, the perfect job, but if you're doing your all, for God, and you're doing what you should be doing, that's very important. And I feel that a lot of men out there, especially dads, feel that they're just not in the right place. They, it's not that they're in a bad place, but they're just kind of stuck where they're at, and they're just content with being miserable. They're not taking steps. They're not to move forward. Whereas, those of us that, are enjoying our life, I would say, the average person really enjoys their life as far as, they're coming home, spending time with their kids and their family. But when it comes to work, it's kind of rough because they feel stuck and they feel like there's something more to life than just a paycheck. And like I've said before, a paycheck is great, but if that's where we stop, I think we really short ourselves. And, I believe that God has more for us, and that discontentment of, I don't really want to do this forever, or this job doesn't really fulfill me, is just kind of the Lord's way of, nudging us and pushing us to go farther, to go to something else. There's something more, basically.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. And I know a lot of people, they take a look at, they take a look at scripture and the curse in Genesis chapter 3, specifically Christians, when they look at that and they say, oh, work should be a curse. Work is something we have to do. It's not something we get to do or something we're privileged to do. So when you hear people say that, how do you react to that? How do we change our mindset in that we can partake in work that we love and that is meaningful and purposeful? How do we change our mindset on that?
Oh, Matt, that's a great question. And that's a very old school question, I think, because in times past, people kind of have gotten stuck on those scriptures and that idea that, you just gotta, bite your teeth or bite your lip and do it. And I would say to that, Jesus came and he died for you and for you and for you, so that you won't have to live under that curse. Of course, this world is full of thorns and thistles. That's just part of living in this world. But, when we came into a relationship with Jesus, we don't have to live under the humdrum of life. We can experience it with him. And I feel like that's where, feeling restless about life comes into hand, because so many times I think the Lord's leading us as men or as dads, more importantly, to go deeper, to do something more meaningful with our life. And we're just kind of stuck on the idea that a job is just something we do, but it's not. A job is about worship. A job is about expressing ourselves, our greatest passions, our desires that he put in there to be expressed. And, it's not always an easy road or journey to get to that, that perfect job that we want or that perfect career. But, as long as I believe that we're striving for that and that we're seeking that, we will find it, at some point. So I would say work is not a curse. It was, it's kind of turned into that in some ways, but with Jesus, we're blessed and we can be a blessing through our work.
Yeah, I definitely would agree. And I think you hit the nail on the head in that very last sentence, that we have to be a blessing to others, and it can be a blessing to work because we get a chance to show people exactly who we are and why other people are placed on this earth and what their purpose is. And that's what I absolutely love. Not only do I love that about you personally, but I love that in what you do and how you go and you try to help men find the work that they love. So what are some of these steps that you walk men through to find the work that they love?
Well, I mean, there are different tests you can take to find out like your personality types. That's a good place to start. But really, it takes a first step of examining, a self-examination. Who are you inside? What is it that you like? What is it that you're passionate about? What is it that comes out of you, naturally? Do you like working with your hands? Do you like working with numbers? Are you detailed? Are you not detailed? Just going through the nitty gritty of what is it that you like, and then how do you see those talents and skills play out in your everyday life? What are the ones that you act on and just come out of you? Because the thing of it is that we are who we are, and we often don't realize it because it's so common, it's so everyday for us. And if we were just to slow down and just really digest and think about who we are as people, I believe we would find out that passion, that desire, that sense of purpose and meaning that we can find from just who we are on an everyday basis. I mean, I love working with people. I love helping people, and it doesn't matter what job I'm doing. I'm always like that, and I just realized that, why don't I just do this for a full-time job? That's just what I like to do, and that's how I decide that this is what I want to do, is help people find out their passion and their desire, because man, it just gets me excited. It gets, it drives me. And, I feel that's what dads need to find in their life. They need to find out what drives them, what makes them go. And I think a lot of the times dads come up with excuses of, I can't do this in my time of life. And, and I understand there's limitations, but at the same time, that doesn't mean we need to hold back and not at least seek in those things and seek those in this time of life.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that there's so many people who are looking and believe that this whole work thing is a curse, and they're so focused on that they forget to actually live, instead of just dwelling on, oh man, I hate my job, I hate my boss and stuff like that. Instead of doing that, they decide to they decide that anything and everything comes to them and at them is already a curse. And because of that, we forget to live. So, what are some different questions that you should ask yourself when you're looking for this, the job that you're looking for, when you're looking for work that's going to make you happy and satisfy yourself?
Well, a good place to start is ask yourself, what do I see myself doing? What does my ideal life look like? And I know that's a very common question that people ask when they're coaching other people, but it's a good starting place, because you know you might have the ideal career, but if it's not fitting in the type of life you want, it's probably not going to work. You're not going to want to go after a career that lands you in Alaska for a year at a time, where there's no where it's dark like half the year, something like that, or you're out on a fishing boat, ice fishing boat or something like that. Hey, I'm fishing, but I'm risk my life every day. You may not want to do that. Start with, do I like being away from home? Do I like being close to home? Start with just start those, start the wheels turning. You may be at the job right now where you're very busy, you're on the go, and you may stop and think, is this what I really want? Do I want a job that really puts more emphasis on my family? And that type of job may not necessarily pay a lot, but it may be what you want and what you desire to have. So so I would start with that. That would be the first step in deciding, where. That's what I've always done with any job I've had. I've always asked myself, is it going to keep me at home? Is it going to let me go to church on Sunday? If it doesn't, it's not happening. I don't care how much it pays. So,
So I think you brought up a really good point, that when we're looking at these jobs, when we're looking at these dream jobs and things that we want to, that we're wanting to do or that we're wanting to accomplish, one of the best things that we need to look at is, does it interfere with our values? Does this dream job, does the job that I'm looking at, does it interfere? Does it make me want to, does it make me do something that I don't want to do, or something that will go directly against my beliefs? Is it something that's going to get in the way of family and my kids and all this other different things? Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
Yes. And it's very important that you take a look at those core values. Once you realize, excuse me, your core value of importance, like you can use that as a driving force to propel you in the direction you want to go. For instance, I'm the breadwinner in my family, and I am very propelled to make enough, money for our family to live and live nicely. That drives me. That motivates me. That's a core value. Now, if it was just me and myself, I wouldn't really care that much. As long as I have enough to live on, that's good. But I have my family, and one of my core values is making money. So you put those together, man, I am so motivated to get out there and kill it. I'm motivated to get out there and make as much money as I possibly can get my hands on, because I'm not doing it for myself. I'm doing it for my core value, which is my family, my daughters, my son, my wife. Maybe it should go in the opposite. My wife, my daughters, my sons.
and for those of you who are listening right now and are thinking, man, like, Patrick, he might just be in it for the money. This is a man who's been happily married for, remind me again how long you guys have been married?
We got married in 2004. So that would be 14 years. Happy anniversary to me.
So not only 14 years, but this is a man who has not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, but 6 children. This is a man who is, for anybody who is listening who might get that confused, this is a man who cares that deeply for his wife of 14 years and for all 6 of his children. And so that's the spot that Patrick's coming from. And so he understands this idea of, finding work that you love, not only finding the work you love, but making sure that you're financially set and finding that work. So what are some other questions and things that you should think about when it comes to looking for this work that you love?
Well, I mean, I would say that, excuse me, think about, money. I mean, money, filthy lucre, as they say in the King James version, is not a dirty thing. So get in your mind, can I make money doing this? If not, maybe it's a hobby and it's really not what I'm called to do. And, look at it. Do I need to make a lot of money in my life right now? Do I not? This is more on the practical side. I guess for me, because I found out money is one of my core values. I like making money. I've got to find out that it makes money. So I would just kind of shape your expectations around, can I make money at doing this? Is this not going to make a lot of money? And can I afford not to make a lot of money? Is that not important to me? So what else was the question asking again, Matt?
What are some other steps? What are some other things that you need to keep in mind when you're looking for, a career or a job, doing a job search? What are some other things that you need to keep in mind, or some other steps?
Other steps. One thing is just it really is the season of life you're in. Are you ready? Are you prepared to step out and do this? If not, you may want to step back and just, take a break, do some more research, and decide on, am I ready for this? Because sometimes it may not be the best time for you. You may be, may have just had a child. Your wife may have a job and she needs your support in this time of your life. So, get on board with your spouse. Make sure your spouse is on board. That's a big one, and I believe that when it's the right time for you to search out that job or that career, that calling that that you are meant for, the Lord will lead you. He's gonna confirm it through your spouse. I mean, that's a big one, obviously. Your friends, your pastor. Don't just go at it alone. You're just confirm it with other people, and the Lord will speak through them. Is what I'm saying. We shouldn't go by what other people say, but we should be led by the Lord, and He is leading other people to speak into our lives as well. So I would do some, and then when when you know that make sure that and then go for it. If it's time to make that move, that change, get a coach if you need one. It doesn't, find a coach that will help you. If that's what you feel like you need. I know it's a big thing to change careers. It's big, it's massive. And if you feel that you need help, man, go out and get it. A lot of people stay where they're at for a long time because it is so hard to change careers. There's so much coming against you as a man, as a father, as a dad. If you think you need help, get a life coach, or a friend, whoever can help you. Whatever you feel. Not everybody needs professional help, but it's just where you're at and what you need. So, okay.
Completely agree with that. So, Patrick, so many times it seems like men are really good at finding reasons, or as I like to call them, excuses on why they can't go for their day job. Money, driving, or, it could be any number of different, reasons. Do you find this to be true? And what are some of the biggest excuses that you've seen, and what's your reply to these excuses?
Well, that's a great question, Matt. I love that question because it's a question on so many levels because, man, because some people have all types of reasons, but some of the main ones I find is that they feel secure in a job that provides them everything they have need of. I remember I used to deliver soda pop, and I was at the post office making a delivery, and I was, I like to talk, obviously I like to jab. So I was just talking to this postal guy, and I just started talking about his life. Who knew? I was just talking about, and I don't know how, but he just started telling me that, I really missed it in my life. I really is what he was saying. Read between the lines. I could have started my own automotive shop. That's what I really wanted to do in life. But instead I've traded it for a retirement, or a pension, a steady paycheck. It doesn't get much steadier than the post office, kind of. They monopolize the market, not that, but that's what I've given up my dream for. And I find that is a common thread in most all people that are like that. They have a great job with a great pension, and it's steady work, and that's where they land. They just settle. It's plain and simple. And that can be anywhere from a lawyer to a mail clerk, anywhere in between. It's the same thing. And, of course there's different circumstances and that, for other people, but that is probably the main thing. We're just stuck on settling for what feeds us. It's kind of like Esau and Jacob. Esau gave up his birthright for survival, common things. And often it's those golden handcuffs that, they just drown us, and we just settle, and it's sad, but at the same time, we all have a choice to make in life. And I believe if you're listening to this podcast that you're one of those that, realizes, Lord, I've got to do something with my life. I've got to make a change. There's more to life than just a paycheck. As much as that's a good place to be, but I don't believe that's a good place for us to stay at. If we feel that the Lord's calling us and he's pulling us in a different direction.
Yeah, definitely. And I would definitely agree. And one of the reasons why I think this subject is so essential is because as men, we have a tendency to come up with these different excuses, these different reasons, and we hold ourselves back. And I know that was one of the biggest things I did. And we've talked about this subject a couple of different times, and so a lot of people come up with these crazy excuses. I need to go back to college. I need to get this stuff figured out. I'm not smart enough. One of my favorites that I've heard, and I know you've heard as well, is that my job gives me financial security. So a lot of times people, they won't go and chase the greener grass on the other side because they're too scared of coming out of that comfort zone. And so talk to us a little bit about how we need to take steps forward. How is it that as men, we need to get out of our comfort zone in order to achieve some of these goals and some of these dreams, especially when our children, our sons and our daughters are watching us?
And that is a big question, Matt. I mean, that's a deep question because, there's a lot of places to start, but it really all depends on you, the individual. I would if it was me and I was looking to do something else, with my life. I can only use me as an example. I would just start dreaming. I would start, once you find out what you want to do, I would just go for it. Start with, the best thing you can do is take small steps, really, practically. You can dream, you can vision it, but then start taking small steps. Start researching. Start talking to people that actually already do it. Tell somebody that you will be accountable to, whatever that might be. Um, take baby steps. Get the wheels spinning again. I think that, hope is an exercise, and we start to exercise hope. We start to overcome those. I think I just need to go back to school. Oh, but I don't have time to do that. Oh, I'm getting too old. I can't do it. Or I'm too young. And I've heard, and it's a common thread again. It's always something to. I'm to this and I'm to that. And there's a proverb in the Bible that says a lazy man won't even pick up a fork to feed himself. I mean, it's the same. It comes out to laziness, because we're not asking you to, go jump out and just do something completely different. What the Lord is asking you is to take baby steps, little by little by little. And just like the debt snowball that Dave Ramsey talks about, I believe there will be a snowball of desire and passion and discovery that will happen when you just take baby steps. And like I said, for the everybody individually, it's different from everybody. But practically, those are some of the things I would say, again, like I said before. Research, talk to people that are doing it, get inspired, read books, find something along the topic of what you want to do. And like I said, this is a big question, but those are, in short, in a nutshell, those are just some things that you can do.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot of people who forget that when we don't allow ourselves to feel valued in our family, when we don't feel valuable enough to go and pursue the job of our dreams, maybe, or to go and accomplish those goals, if we don't feel valuable enough, and to me, that's one of the big things that it comes down to, is that we're valuable, that we're worthy. Patrick talked, a little earlier about, Jesus coming and he died on the cross for us, and that places that type of value onto us. If we do not accept that value, if we don't accept that awesome responsibility that comes with, then our sons and daughters are going to follow suit. They're not going to believe that they're valuable. They're not going to go and they're not going to achieve their goals. They're not going to go and try to achieve their dreams. And so I think this idea of going and pursuing a career or a job of your dreams is absolutely, it's vital. If we're stuck in this dead end job and we're just working to simply get a paycheck, then we don't see ourselves as worth it to go and shoot for the stars. And that's exactly what Jesus did for us when he died for each and every single one of us, as Patrick mentioned earlier. And
yeah, I'm sorry, I gotta interrupt you. I gotta interrupt you. You just said something. Careers, jobs, man. It is. For those of us that are looking and thinking, it's not, to change our lives. It's not a career. This is just a word from the Lord, I believe. It's not a career. It's not a job. It's a calling. It's a passion. It's what the Lord had put you on this earth to do. Today you can choose life or death. Choose life. It's a choice for you. I feel like the Lord just empowered me to say that. I had to interrupt you, Matt.
Oh, no, it's all good. I know better than to argue with the man upstairs.
Yeah, it's a calling. It's a passion, and he wants it more than you do. And he's going to lead you. He's going to bring you favor. He's going to bring you connections. He's going to show you where to go and what to do. You don't need to worry. So go after it. That's
Would
all.
definitely agree. So, as we move on, as we start looking at wrapping up, how does going after that dream job and understanding the faith in yourself, faith in your spouse to help you steer the right way, faith in God that He's going to be with you, how does all of that translate into fatherhood? How does going for those dream jobs and having faith in God, having faith in your wife, how does that, or what does that instill inside your children?
Well, I can only speak from experience because that's the best I relate to. Growing up, my father, he still is. I think he still is, even though he's never really found it. He was always a dreamer. He was always talking about doing this little business deal or doing that business deal or doing that. And, he pretty much failed at a lot of them, but he did hit it once. He started his own ink business and eventually did fail, but because of the market change. And, he probably wasn't the best businessman. He knows that. But man, he was always talking about, hey, we can start this business doing that. And, I just learned that. And I've always been like that. I've like, oh, I could do this. I've always been excited about starting my own little business or, or doing this job that I really wanted to do. And I've always gone from thing to thing. And honestly, I feel that if we stop dreaming, our kids will stop dreaming. It'll be that much harder for them to pick up the mantle and carry it on. And even though, my dad, I love my dad, he's not necessarily a believer. Well, he's not, and he knows it. I still love him and I cherish those times when I was little and he just showed me that example of just always, always scheming. They call it scheming, coming up with this and coming up with that, even if it really isn't never going to work. And I just, like I said before, I believe when we let go of those dreams and we cast them down and we settle for the, for the less than best, our kids will settle for the less than best. And their kids will settle for the less than best. And it just goes on and on. And not that the Lord can't break that cycle or it can't change, but it's not as easy. So I would say that you're not only responsible for your life, but you're responsible for your children's life. The influence that you have it echoes into your children and their children and their children's children. And like I said, my encouragement to you as a man and as a father, or if you're just a man or a woman out there, is that just don't give up. Even if you can't even do anything on it right now, just never let it go. Always keep the fire burning. Stoke the coals.
There you go. So, last question, kind of finishing up. We've talked a lot about how as men we can go and we can take steps towards our goals and kind of conquering some of these different myths that men face each and every day. Talk to us a little bit about how do we encourage our spouse to go and find that dream job or to dream and to put herself out there.
Woo, that's a good question, man. Get your butt out there and go to work. How would you encourage them? I guess a good way to start would be to just pray for them every day. Pray over them, and just when they're going for it, just encourage them every day. Whether it's writing them notes or just saying, honey, or you're doing a good job. Keep going, and just always be their cheerleader and just always support them, just support, basically, just be there for them. And that's big, because I've known people that their wife doesn't necessarily support them. And that's very common too, as well. And stepping out all the way to do something that they really want to do. And I guess that's kind of gets a little messy, but I won't go there. I'm not the counselor, just the coach. So yeah, I pray for them, just encourage them, and just be there for them, basically, and that's what my wife does for me, and that's amazing. So she's an amazing woman, and I love her very much, and she's always supported me, even when she probably shouldn't have, but she has. So I think we've all been there. So, but yeah, that's what I would encourage you guys to do.
That's awesome. So what I'm hearing you say is pray for them, and make sure you're offering them words of encouragement, lift them up, speak positive about them and the work that they're doing. Not only that, but ask some questions to make them think about their goals and their dreams. That way they can further develop those goals and their dreams. You have a chance here, kind of as Patrick was saying, to almost be your wife's coach. Of course, you don't put it out like that, but you have this opportunity to ask some questions to help them develop their thoughts, to help them develop their ideas, and to really encourage them to push them forward in their goals and their dreams and their ambitions.
Yeah, my wife has actually coached me. She's been a great encouragement to me in that aspect, because I'll come to her and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And she just ask me questions and just be like, this and this and this. And I'm like, oh, you're right. That is good. I'm like, I'm glad you were here. So I can bounce ideas off my spouse. And because it feels like she has the answers, but often I have the answers. She just helps me find them. And if they're wrong, end up being wrong, we just go back and we do it again. And she helped she designed my website. That was a great help. She does a lot of the stuff for me that I am not very good at. So all the detail work and stuff like that. And but yeah, so.
And I absolutely love that. And our spouses are great to communicate and bounce ideas off of. Patrick, to finish up, tell us a little bit about your business and how people can get in contact with you.
All right. I help men, I help dads get in touch with their purpose, find their purpose if need be. A lot of the times, just life in general wears us down, and we kind of lose touch with what's important in life. We lose touch with the why, the how come. We just, that path, that excitement, that purpose, sense of purpose, it just kind of gets lost. Like, why am I doing this? I'm going through all this stuff right now. I need invigoration. I need to be invigorated. I need innovation in my life. I find that, when the routine of life just kind of wears us down, and we lose our innovation. We lose that, oh yeah, I could do this different with my life. I could, the ideas, the new ideas, the creativity, that we lose that. And that's what I do. I help men find that spark. I help dads, get the life that they want, and really I help anybody. But I really relate to dads, men in life. And that's what I do. I help realign their purpose with what they're doing. And, if you don't know your purpose, I can also help you find that as well. But you can reach me at innovativecoachingfordads.com. you can send me an email that way, or I'm also on Facebook, so you can connect with me there. If you would like to talk or, have any questions for me, I would just love to connect with. I would love to talk, connect, find out what's going on in your life, and, see if I could help, or maybe I could find somebody else who could help you. I'm just, but yeah, that's what I do.
Well, Patrick, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us for this summit. You've given us a lot to think about, a lot to chew on. And so I really appreciate it. For anyone who's out there watching, thank you for coming out, watching, and hanging out with us for a little bit. I hope you've gotten a huge chunk of knowledge, a huge chunk of stuff to chew on. There's been a lot of information thrown out at you today about faith. Dow did a great job. Sean did a great job. Patrick did a great job. And the summit doesn't end there because the summit's going to be going on all week. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about marriage and how does marriage work? How does marriage, how do you make that work? How do you, live out a great marriage? How do you give 100% on both sides? And so I'm really excited to be sharing that and to hosting that with you guys. Please tell your friends, your family, check it out. Go to www.fatherhood.com/summit. You can register there. I have Ricky here on the line. Ricky has generously offered a couple of things for anybody who is registered by the end of the summit. Ricky, my friend, why don't you tell anyone who's registered what they get? Along with that, we're going to be having a drawing, and Will and Lucky Person is going to be winning some awesome things from Ricky. So, Ricky, why don't you tell anyone who's listening about that?
Sounds good. Amazing summit. Day one is over, but hey, 4 more days to go. Super excited about all the speakers and topics. Great job, Matt. So I'm giving away to every single attendee who is registered online course about how to be a digital nomad family. So for those of you who don't know, a digital nomad is someone who's working and traveling. And of course, travel is the best education we can give our kids. So, it's definitely but just for Matt's summit attendees, it is free. Yeah, so we have and watch the course and learn how you can generate income online, travel the world, and see this amazing creation by God. So, that's it. That's it on my end, and I'm also giving away a coaching session about how to be digital nomad to one lucky draw prize winner. So, great job once again, Matt, and great job today, Patrick.
Thank you.
That's awesome. So once again, I know we were having a little bit of technical difficulties there. Ricky right now is currently in the Philippines with his wife, his beautiful wife, and his 3 kids. And so to everyone who registers for this event, for the summit, by the end of the week, he's going to give everyone a free access to a course on how to become a digital nomad. Not only that, but to one lucky person, we're going to put everyone's name in a hat, and I don't know whether my kids or my wife are going to help me with this, but we're going to draw a name out of a hat or do some sort of random thing on the iPad or something like that, and one lucky person is going to get some personal coaching from Ricky. Now, I can personally give a shout out to Ricky. He's somebody who's coached me. He's somebody who, has a heart to serve, has a heart to serve men. A lot about what Patrick was just kind of talking about is as far as finding people, finding work that you love. And that's what Ricky loves and thrives on doing. So one lucky person will get that. And then anybody who does register will get access to Ricky's digital nomad class and course. So thank you, anyone who is listening, whether you're listening to this live, whether you're listening to a recording, whether you're listening to it in a couple of years. Thank you for taking a look at the Fatherhood Summit. Really look forward to coming to you guys tomorrow. We've got a great lineup for you tomorrow. Just a couple of the people that you're going to get a chance to hear from, very first person, and this is at noon. Of course, all these times are Central Time. So the very first person that you're going to get to hear from at 12 p.m. is Mr. Alan Thomas. Alan's somebody who's been married for about 32 years, and he's got some great nuggets as far as marriage and doing life together. And then at 1 p.m., we have Michael Prince. Michael is a friend of mine, and he is an expert as far as helping to keep your family safe in the digital age. Just a phenomenal guy, just somebody who again has passion for his wife, and he's got some kids that he just loves and he protects. Next, we have my friend Tommy Laynard, and I'm sure I'm butchering his last name, and he'll let me know about that. But that is at 2 p.m. If you'll remember, Tommy was on my podcast, and he talked about being very intentional about figuring out how to spend time with your children individually, which is a concept that I absolutely love. It's something that has it's kind of lost in today's society. So we're going to be talking to him about how to make that happen. And to finish up tomorrow, the day of marriage, at 8 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to be talking to Ray Matz. And Ray, he got married a little bit later in life, started having kids a little bit later in life. He's the CEO of Game Changing Dads. But he's going to talk to us a lot about how to build an affair-proof marriage and what does waiting for marriage, what does that look like, and what are the benefits of that. A lot of us as men, it's so easy to rush into marriage and to run into marriage when we don't really have any idea what is around the corner. And so, if you come out tomorrow, please come out and check it out. Again, the summit will be running from 12 to 3 with 3 speakers, and then we have 1 speaker at 8 p.m. So for anyone who is listening, thank you again for coming and checking us out. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and look forward to talking to you guys tomorrow. Have a great night.